Hello, thanks for watching. I'm Denny from the Foolish Fish channel, known probably best for my collection of esoteric and occult books. And some of you have expressed an interest in seeing the books that I've taken with me. Those books that are not necessarily the most beautiful books, but the most useful books, the books that I use on a daily basis. So if you're interested in seeing what books I consider the most essential books in my collection, stick around and I'll show you. Well, what you'll see over here is all of the grimoires, very, very practical, traditional books that I've collected and that I use just kind of regularly just for reference. The fourth book of occult philosophy, I use this regularly, especially for the Heptameron within. Although I have to say that more and more I'm reaching for Joseph H. Peterson's elucidation of necromancy, which is the Heptameron, but with just so much more background to the Heptameron and things like this, right? Naturally, the Picatrix, I've got the very fresh Dan Attrell edition. There we go, and David Poreka edition, very nice. And then, of course, the Arbatel, regularly using that for the Olympic spirits. And then the Grimorium Verum, very, very classic, very necessary for understanding quite a lot of material surrounding demons specifically. And then the Hekateon, of course, Jack Grayle's wonderful work on Hecate. This is a second edition. I actually have several of his other editions, but this edition is particularly dear to me. It's not as complete as the later ones, but I think it's got personal value to me. And then there's the Orphic hymns, which I use just on a very regular basis whenever I'm speaking to any of the Greek deities, which is very regularly. The Book of Abramelin, there was a time when I was thinking, do you know what, I'm going to be in seclusion for a little bit there. Would it be a good idea for me to work the Abramelin? I'm still not saying no. We'll see what goes on with that. The 6th and 7th books of Moses, just for reference, once again, the Greek magical papyri. This is so central to my practice, thanks to the wonderful course by Jack Grayle, the PGM 50 Rites for 50 Nights, and then the PGM 2 course that he did as a follow-up, which completely blew this open for so many people and made it accessible as an actual working process. Wonderful stuff. The Summa Sacre Magice, which I would like to become more familiar with. Dr. Skinner made this available quite recently, and many people are of the opinion that this is a turning point for grimoire magic and contains the secrets that unlock so much of the other grimoires. So I'm looking forward to diving a little bit deeper into that. And then, of course, the Goetia of Dr. Rudd, which contains not only the Goetia or the Ars Goetia and an extensive overview of that, but also many details on the 72 angels of the Shem HaMeforash, which Dr. Rudd associated with each of the spirits. I don't really like calling them demons. The spirits described in Ars Goetia. If we move over here, we'll see the 3 Quareia books, right? Josephine McCarthy's opus magnum that she is currently republishing in individual books. These are my editions, the 3 massive tomes. I refer to these all the time. I'm a huge fan of what Josephine does. If you weren't already aware of that, I think that her work on Quareia is extraordinary. And yeah, I just refer to these very regularly. Not just that, actually. I mean, if I just hop down here for a bit, you'll find the Mystagogus deck just at arm's reach from where I'm working over here, like literally just behind, and down here on a kind of looser shelf so that I can reach for it very easily, her Mystagogus book. And then over here we've got the Key of Solomon the King, which is a book of pentacles and talismans, and very useful for the course that I've just been teaching. The Way of the Rose, which you'll know is very dear to me. I think that this is a really nice way of approaching the figure of Mary in a non-dogmatic way. I love this book. Feeding Your Demons, which I recommend regularly to clients calling me for one-to-one conversations, asking me what books I recommend for their particular path. I like to be able to just reach out and show them the cover of this one. The Nag Hammadi library, which is central to my own practice, as is the Holy Bible, right? I consider these to really be part and parcel of the same thing. One shouldn't really come without the other. Then Theurgy and the Soul and Hellenic Tantra, both by Gregory Shaw, which inform for me what the Nag Hammadi library and the Holy Bible actually contain. Yeah. Okay, then let's move down over here. This is a book that I'm currently reading to my son whenever he stays over three nights a week. There's Etheric Magic by Ike Baker, which I reviewed recently, and it's kind of leisurely lying on top there. And these, once again, books that I recommend regularly to clients calling. So Unquiet Voices, let me just drop down here a little bit. Unquiet Voices, this is the one that I recommend most readily for people interested in speaking to the dead, right, for necromancy and for dead spirits. And then the 3 books by Jareth Tempest. I have to say that these 2 are the ones that I use very, very regularly. Raziel's Paths of Power and the Archangel Path Workings. So volumes 1 and 2 of Raziel's Paths of Power. The first one is about the 72 angels of Shem HaMephorash. I've made a review of this, and you'll know that this is one of the books that I use the most often. The Angels of Omnipotence is a very interesting work. I use it a little bit less often, simply. Then we've got Familiar Unto You, Familiar Unto Me, by B.J. Swain. This is the book that I recommend most regularly for people asking for a recommendation on familiars and on, simply magical connections and pacts, that kind of thing. And then the whole series of Jacobus G. Svart's wonderful books on Hebrew magic. Extraordinary stuff. It's accessible to anyone who's willing to engage with the work, which I really appreciate. Now then, there is David Rankin's Claves Inteligentiarum, really a book that I'm recommending more and more as a really nice introduction to grimoire magic. And I know that David Rankin is about to release part 2 of this, and I just can't wait to give you details of that. But again, when clients ask me, where do I start with grimoires? This is more and more the one that I'm going to start recommending, okay? Tantra Illuminated, you know that I'm a huge fan of this, and that, in my opinion, it explains so much of the Western magical tradition. If we can understand what the Western magical tradition was trying to emulate, which is simply Indian Tantra, right? So by understanding that, we can understand so much about our own tradition, the Western tradition, should I say. And this is just so beautifully written. It's so easy to read and understand these very, very complicated ideas that Christopher Wallace has made very clear for us, very, very easy to access. Now, Vajraya Kilaya, a rather a controversial book that reveals details about this purba practice that I know some people are not very comfortable being public knowledge, but I have to say I agree with the introduction here. People who are supposed to get this information will get it, and those who aren't will not. It's just the way it is, okay. And then Cultivating a Compassionate Heart, the yoga method of Chenrezig, which is an approach to Avalokiteshvara. And this was a gift from a very dear friend of mine. Thank you very much, Kolo, whose name you'll no doubt see scrolling up at the end of this video. Sharp Practice by Robert Fitzgerald. Once again, you might notice an interest in the Purba practice there. Okay, let's move Mystagogus over to the left over here before I show you Meditation for the Love of It. People who have been watching my channel for a long time will know that this is one of my favorite books and that I hate the cover. But yeah, the more I see this cover, the less I hate it, I have to be honest. Let's move it away for a second so I get access to the rest. And Awakening Shakti, by the same author, by the way, right? Sally Kempton. I'm a big fan of what she does. Yeah. So over here is kind of my Eastern practice department. The 3 books by AIdan, Wachter, again, I reach for these regularly. I recommend them regularly to clients. These are really among my very, very top books of all time. I think they're absolutely wonderful. I'm kind of interested in the Grayle romance right now. So Joseph Campbell's book on the topic is of great interest to me. We've got Carl Jung's Psychology and Alchemy, The Practical Art of Divine Magic by Patrick Dunn, the translator of the Orphic hymns over here for a Greek pagan approach. And then by Hand and Eye, which is not a magical work, but it's kind of a magical work anyway, about the geometry of beauty. Fascinating stuff. And then the book of the yokai over here. All right, let's move down all the way over here and see some of the books that I got here. And some of these are here mostly because I'm going to be reviewing them, right? So Modern Hermeticism, very interested. This has been sent to me by Llewellyn. I'll be doing a review of that in the near future. High Priest, I may or may not get around to this, story of Raymond Buckland. I reviewed 36 Secrets, which was about the deacons by T. Susan Chang, but I've also now got her 4 Stories, which was very recently released, and I'm hoping to get around to reading that as well. This is another Kyoto, so yeah, I'm in chats with another very dear friend, Peter Coleman, who occasionally goes to Kyoto, and he had this wonderful idea of maybe doing a tour of Kyoto, an esoteric tour of Kyoto. And of course, if there's enough interest, we might make that a reality. So in the meantime, I'm reading this to get an idea of what's over there. I've been to Kyoto, and it's my favorite place in the world, full stop. Bar none. It's the most magical place that I've ever been to. And it would be wonderful to do a tour of Kyoto. But yeah, anyway, we'll see about that. And then Divine Dirt, once again, sent to me by Llewellyn. Now, this is a very special book over here. This is Bernard Reicher's Stories, Some Strangers Told Me in a Bar, Encounters in Imaginal Realms, Volume 1. This is a book that he self-published. And Bernard is a specialist of the inner palace, the kind of guided meditation that I did on my channel some time ago. That's kind of his speciality. And yeah, this is a lovely little book that he wrote. Then we've got Procession of the Night Theatre. So this is all about the Mansions of the Moon. Okay, next we've got Avi Solomon's new translation of the Sefer Yesaira. Very, very cool stuff. This is one that he sent to me just exclusively. It's going to be available through AIdan Press very shortly, if I understand correctly, but you can already buy this version directly from his Lulu account. I think it's Lulu. And it's just very, very cool indeed. So yeah, you can check that out for sure. Really, really nice edition of Sefer Yesaira. Very, interested in getting further with this Dionysus Myth and Cult by Walter F. Otto. Dionysus is kind of, central to my practice, so I'm interested in that. Simon Crutchley on mysticism. Again, this was a gift from my friend Peter. Looking forward to getting into that. As you see, this is my shelf of to-be-read books. Mystical Christianity. Curious about what this has to offer. I'm very cautious about books on Christianity because that is the very, very core of my practice, and I have very, very private, very personal, and very strong opinions on that. So and then these 2 books that I picked up in Copenhagen, and these are books about the design of Viking art and how to make it yourself. So that's very cool. And then finally, carving the acanthus leaf, which I still intend to get to. Right, and then over here, just a few board games. We've got the first volume in the Absolute Promethea series, which is just now getting a reprint. I'm waiting for books 2 and 3 to come out in 6 months and a year's time, respectively. And then a few of my Oracle decks that I use regularly, and then La Fleur, probably my favorite game right now, just on account of how beautiful it is and how easy it is to teach. In a few more board games, there we go. River of Gold, gorgeous, gorgeous game. Century, very easy to learn, a lot of fun for people who are new to gaming. Unconscious Mind, very, very complicated game. I do not recommend this for absolute beginners. And then a couple more over here. Love Obsession so much. As much as La Fleur, to be honest. It's just really, really lovely. And then, The King is Dead. Nice, thinky, crunchy, puzzly strategy game, right? And then Ra, which has got a bit more of a party feel to it, and Unmatched, which is very cool for 2-player games. There we go. So there you have it, my very brief tour of my most essential books, the books that I can't really live without, that I just really, really wanted to have close to me at all times. And I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you very, very much to all the supporters of the show, all of the members whose names you can see scrolling up over here. And I just want to just say a big, big thank you from the bottom of my heart to everyone who has just continued supporting me, just sending me so many lovely messages. And it feels like such a nice community. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't forget that if you do want to join the Patreon, that gives you access to the Foolish Fish Discord, where you'll find all kinds of information on many, many different magic related topics. And you'll also get to chat with other members who are interested in the same kind of stuff as you are. So that's definitely something to explore. And of course, if you'd like to have a one-to-one conversation with me to talk about any aspect of your life, if you'd like me to read your tarot, if you would like me to make recommendations for your particular magical path, then just find the links down below and let's get in touch, and we'll have a 1-hour one-to-one video conversation. And I know some people might be thinking, oh my goodness, that must be so expensive. Go and check out the prices. You might be surprised. Anyway, for the moment, the prices may be going up in the future. So, folks, I hope you're all having an okay time. I hope you're all managing to stay safe. I hope you're all managing to stay sane. Do look after yourselves. And as always, look after each other. And I will see you with another video. Take care of yourselves. See you. Bye-bye.